This is a Hope 1032 podcast.
To She Wasn't Born Yesterday for women who are 40 plus fabulous by the Empty Nest Chicks. I'm Janet Evans, ex-M&T Saatchi advertising creative who have won numerous radio and TV awards. Not that that'll affect us because we're doing a podcast.
And I'm Dr. Amelia Haynes, who has been a medical doctor for 30 years and specialising in sexual health and mental health and relationships, and I'm generally a very useful human being.
Well, we'll find out about that, but we are here to work together.
People tell me on good authority that I am.
Really? Yes, well, they never say that to me, so I think we're the perfect hosts for She Wasn't Born Yesterday. Gorgi, recently Dr. Amelia and I did an episode called Love Behind Bars with our gorgeous friend, Jo Giles, about her experience outside the prison system when her partner was inside for 2.5 years. It was actually quite shocking because if you're like us, you've never experienced anything like this before. But one thing Jo said was that she felt incredibly grateful for the tremendous support she had from family and friends throughout her ordeal. And thank you for listening to that episode and for all of your comments and feedback. And today we're chatting to a special guest. Her name is Gill Begbie. She works with an organisation called Kairos Outside, who focuses on supporting women while their loved one is in prison. Gill, welcome to our bonus interview exclusively for She Wasn't Born Yesterday.
Thank you, Janet. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, Gill, I read an article about you guys recently and something really resonated with me where it said, there's a saying by those in prison, we do the crime, but friends and family also share the time. And we know from Jo's experience that that is definitely the case. So what are some of the challenges women in particular face when they're on the outside and someone they love has gone inside?
For many of them, it's a complete shock, comes out of left field, and they have no idea that someone close to them, and we don't refer to them as loved ones because sometimes they're not. By the time the crime has been revealed and they've gone to jail and these poor women supporting them have gone through all the court system and all that angst, they're anything but a loved one by then. But women being women, still hang in there, still support, still care very deeply about the person in jail. And many of them are close loved ones as well. So for them, there's all that emotional shock, trauma, misunderstanding by the community, guilt by association. You must have known something about this. Come on. If he'd been doing that all those years, don't kid us. You must have known about it. So that kind of thing often troubles women, as well as the practical things like giving up so much of your spare time to visit people in jail. If the person in prison is the breadwinner in the family, suddenly the woman is left to find that money, raise the children on her own. Even practical things like learn how to mow the lawn or do the traditional things that her man used to do. So many implications for the woman herself and for her children, who also suffer from taunting by others about what's happened to their brother, sister, father, mother, whoever, and all of that impact on them emotionally and practically as well.
So tell us a bit about Kairos Outside, K-A-I-R-O-S, Kairos Outside, and what you do.
Sure. Well, that word Kairos is Greek for appointed time, not clock time, appointed time. So for us in Kairos, as a Christian organisation, we believe a person's Kairos time when they come to one of our programs is God's appointed time for them to think about doing things differently maybe, work through some of the impacts for the women on the outside of what it means having ever, at any time in their lives, had someone in prison, not just currently, but any time. And for those who do Kairos programs in the prison, it's really a time for them to reboot and start thinking through the possibility of doing life differently once they're released or even during their prison sentence. We also have one arm of our Kairos Prison Ministry organisation called Torch, and that focuses on young offenders. And for them, reaching them early is just so important to help them get back on track with their lives. Kairos Outside, which is the arm of Kairos Prison Ministry that I'm currently focusing on, we, at no cost to them, offer a residential weekend for women who, both currently and in the past, have had someone close to them in prison. We take them away and we run a program that we hope and pray offers them fresh ideas, new hope, and also connects them with other women in a similar situation. So whatever arm of Kairos we're talking about, it is a team ministry, not one-on-one. So a well-prepared team, in Kairos Outside's case, goes away with these women, and many of our team members have themselves had someone in jail in the past or currently. So they bring a reality, a genuineness to our programs that really resonates with the women who come. We call them our guests. They come deeply impacted by meeting other people in their situation. It really does make a difference.
How do they hear about you, or do you hear about them somehow? How do you actually contact them?
Well, unlike Kairos inside the prisons, where the chaplain handpicks 18 prison residents to attend the programs, so they've always got a guaranteed number of people at their programs, we don't have that in Kairos Outside. And the difficulty for us is that women in this situation are often deeply ashamed, as you can imagine, and they hide themselves away from society. That self-isolation means they're hard to find, and we rely very much on word of mouth from past participants to tell them, hey, Kairos Outside exists. I've had an amazing, not only a weekend, but a follow-up through reunions and coffee groups and one-on-one chats. You must get involved. That's probably the most common source of guests for us. The other is through our Kairos Inside programs and the chaplains in prisons knowing about us, referring people on through prison inmates. We try and do brochure drops at community centres and courthouses and places where these women might congregate. But it's very difficult to actually find people. And we have an amazing weekend on offer, but often very few guests who come.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully we'll get some more guests as a result of this interview. But so what do you actually get up to on these weekends?
Yeah, well, it's a set program for obvious reasons. So our parent organisation in America has put together a manual of operation which we are under licence to use, but it doesn't mean that each individual group, Kairos Outside in Sydney is one of many across Australia. We all look the same, and that's deliberate, with local differences according to the nature of your team, the venue you go to, the little gifts that you give the women. All those things differ from place to place, but the heart of what we do is the same. And we run a program that is very, very intentionally put together, step by step, so that each talk or activity builds on the one before and helps women deal with common issues that they bring to a weekend, like a sense of worthlessness, sense of disconnection and isolation, emotional turmoil, anger, unforgiveness, fracturing of family relationships. All of these things we hit head on. We hope to give them guidelines as to, if it's their time, if it's their Kairos time, a way forward, a way to a new way of doing things. No push from us. Any woman can come, doesn't matter what her background is, whether she's a woman of faith or not. We treat them all the same, no judgment, and we just shower love and unconditional acceptance on them.
Hundreds of women have, literally hundreds have gone through the Kairos Outside little weekend programs. But what kind of feedback do you get from them?
I have to be honest and say it's not for everyone. We have had some people come, have enjoyed the weekend, but we haven't seen them again. It's been enough for them just to come to a weekend.
Maybe they're healed.
I wish it was that quick, Janet. It's a very slow and painful process for most of these women. But for those for whom it connects, and that is the majority, they speak of the relief of meeting other women in their situation, because they've never been in a situation before where they can talk about it freely, openly, confidentially, because we are absolutely bound to confidentiality. And some women even choose to come under a pseudonym, an assumed name, because of the high-profile nature of the person who's done the crime in their life. So we don't care who they are, what name they bring, and they just love that acceptance. And without exception, I think, they leave less burdened and having dealt with the suspicion of who are we and why are we giving them this free weekend and are we going to abduct them and are their families ever going to see them again? They've actually now met real people, know that we are genuine in our love and care for them and our desire to support them, and even pick up the phone when things are bad and know that they can find a listening ear with a team member. We don't offer money, we don't offer tangible things like that, but we do offer our time, our experience, our love and our non-judgment, and it means a lot to them.
Yeah. I think just knowing that you're not the only one, that there's this group of women out there and families who are going through exactly the same thing must be so kind of healing in itself. I can imagine if you're in a relationship and your loved one is or potentially loved one, is put away for a long time, it would be almost impossible to maintain that relationship, wouldn't it? I mean, how do you support these women as they essentially are leading kind of a single life again?
Yeah, it's really hard. And I think the key is, as you just said, connection with others who know exactly how that feels. And we have team members who currently have people in prison for a long-term sentence or a revolving door repeated sentence. And so for that team member to be able to offer the knowledge of how prison works, how to maintain those long-term contacts when it's potentially so difficult, that's great for the team member and it's great for the guest to actually be able to connect in that way. But you're right, it's not easy. And one of the talks we give is on the home environment and how that's impacted by someone's imprisonment, and some practical tips on how to try to maintain that relationship despite the distance factor and the separation factor.
Must be incredibly hard. But it's interesting how you talked about just then, filling them in on how prison works, because one thing that Jo said in her episode was that just finding information was incredibly hard. Like they never communicated with her, even when she was just trying to find out where he'd been sent or things like that. Is that something you can help with, or is that sort of out of your jurisdiction?
It's out of our jurisdiction. The best thing we can do is put the woman on the outside in touch with the chaplain at that prison, because we work in Kairos Inside works through the chaplains, and often that's a really successful match. And for the chaplain to go and talk with the prisoner and with the family member if that's appropriate. As Kairos team members, we have a little saying, nothing in, nothing out. What we hear in the jails, we don't bring out and share with the women on the outside, and vice versa. So we're limited in what we can do. But with women like that, I think the best thing is to talk to someone who's been there before and can kind of agree with them that it's a tough journey and maybe give them some little thoughts on things they've done to help understand the system and work with it.
Yeah, I think that's what Jo did actually in her episode. She was like, if you're ever in this situation, here's a couple of hot tips to, find out more and, get to the bottom of things. But
Sure.
What drives you to keep going? Like, why do you do this?
Janet, I don't know if I'm proud or ashamed to say that I have been with the Kairos Outside and Kairos Prison Ministry organisation since it began in 1999. So there you go.
So last century.
Thank you very much for pointing that out. I appreciate it. It's kind of in my blood, and I think the reason is, as a Christian person, to see the miracles that come about through love, through just showing respect, grace, love, unconditional listening to people either in prison or in the case of our interview today, the women on the outside, and to see that just melts away so much fear and suspicion and kind of a locked-in inability to share emotion, and to see the change that brings about in people. Some of the women who come to our programs, they arrive bent and burdened and unhappy and drawn, and by the end of the connection with people who understand, they look completely different. There's a relief and a release in them that is transformational. To do that as part of a team of like-minded people is really energising. It's lovely. I can't see myself finishing it up anytime soon. And I get just as much out of being on team as I think the women do who come to our programs. It's amazing.
Wow. It's interesting you use the word locked and unlocked there because, that really does reflect that thought about, like sharing the time, while the person is literally locked away inside themselves. But so if women listening to this need your support or know someone who does, confidentially, how do they find you?
Well, as I said, Kairos Outside Sydney is one of many around Australia. We have one common point of contact, and that's through the support office of Kairos Prison Ministry Australia. So you can either remember Kairos, which is that lovely Greek word, but it's hard to remember. You can look that up, Kairos Prison Ministry online, or you can go to our website, which is kairos.org.au, and there will be a phone number as well that you can call. The person answering will direct you to the right region for support. And we're always waiting, we're always wanting more, and we always have room for more participants at our programs.
Wow. Well, hopefully not too many more women will be in that situation, but if they are, they know where to go now.
The next weekend for Sydney listeners is coming up in May, towards the end of May. We have a lot of vacancies. Get on that phone, get on the website, get onto the internet and find us, and we will be there for you. No expense to you. We'll pick you up from home, drop you back at home.
Oh, thanks. That'd be great. Thank you so much, Gill. That's been very enlightening and I think really adds to the content of Jo's episode, because you've not only kind of unlocked what you and Kairos Outside do, but you've also given great hope to those who do literally share the time after their friend or family member has done the crime. And thank you so much for being on She Wasn't Born Yesterday today.
Thanks, Janet. Appreciate the time.
Hope 103.2. Thanks for listening.